That works. Alright, I think we're now back on everything. I think we're live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook now. For a moment till the internet decides to give up again. Hopefully we can get a little stuff done tonight before we start having too many issues. Give me quick double checks here. Facebook seems to be back. So hopefully we're going to be good from here on out. We'll see what happens. We'll go ahead and get started here. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. We're still working on the next inlay. Not really a whole lot to see right now, per se, other than what is it. I'll put in the description next week what it's going to be. I'll show a picture next week. Hopefully I'll get a little more time in it over the weekend, so hopefully you can kind of start seeing what it's going to be anyway. But sorry for the glitch there before. Not sure why the internet keeps doing that, but yeah, it farted out again on me tonight. So I think everything's back going. It looks like it's all going again, so hopefully that was the glitch of the night. Can make it. If we do end up glitching out again, I'll probably just stop it so I can continue working on this, because as you can see we're in the one video mode for tonight, so I can record it and make a time lapse of this when I get done. So if we glitch out again, I'll just continue to work on this and keep the recording. I guess I could still talk to it and upload what I take. Wouldn't be on Twitch though, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll be better. I was hoping for a good night after we didn't have no problems on Monday or Tuesday or yesterday, so I wanted to get more done on this today, but I ended up continuing working on the slider bracelets. I was just having fun. I had all my stuff out for it, so it was like, I just want to continue to work on them. So I think I've got 9, 10 made up in different colors and different styles and all that. Kind of played around with a few other ideas to make on the stretchy jelly bracelets. 2 didn't work at all that I didn't care for, so 1 has potential. I just didn't get to finish it. I finally had to say, okay, it's time to put this up. Need to get it set up for tonight's stream, so that's why there's really nothing completed. I guess last week we only had partial stream before it went out, and I've worked a little bit more off stream on it, but since then, last Thursday night, I haven't had no chance to get anything worked on this particular inlay. So hopefully I'll get a good chunk tonight. Though I do have band stuff tomorrow and Saturday, I should have a little more free time to get some more work done on it. We'll see how next week goes. I know Sunday, got a football game I'll be watching Sunday. But I could potentially still get some more work done on it then. And hopefully Saturday too. I was thinking about maybe doing a Saturday stream, but it'd be late night, probably. Because I should be done with the band stuff by around 1-ish, I think. They kind of changed up what they were doing. They're supposed to have, it's kind of a standing parade, but I guess there's not a lot of room in where the areas they blocked off, so instead of taking the full band, they're going to take the jazz band, and they're going to do 3 sets. So I want to get there and get at least one of the sets, if not 2. I don't know if I'll get all 3 sets. I'm going to find out if they're going to be playing the same stuff during all 3 sets. Then I'll make my decision on that. But I'll tell you what, boy, it was pretty chilly today. My kind of weather, though. I kind of like it this way, but we only got up to, I think, about 58 today, and it was a good time to hopefully get the last mowing done. I don't see why it would grow anymore now, but got the boy out there and got the mowing done, and now it's just a matter of picking up the leaves for the rest of the season as they continue to grow and grow. Dead leaf piles growing. But tonight, I think when I was looking at the weather, we're supposed to get down to like 37 tonight. Not necessarily unusual, but definitely cooler. I'm gonna have to, I think we're supposed to be back up into the lower 70s for a few days, and then mid 60s for a while after that, but about time to crank up the heater, turn it on at least, make sure it's all gonna work. I think was it last year? Might have been the year before, I don't know. Never really tested it when we got close, and then when it got cold, and went to turn it on, and nothing. Wouldn't kick on, so. Got a friend that does heating and cooling. Messaged him, he gave me a few ideas, read some blinking codes on the furnace, got online, read up on it. Pretty much figured out what the issue was, and it was just a matter of cleaning one little, basically just looked like a little metal rod that was like an inch long. I forget what it was called exactly now, but got in there, pulled it out, cleaned it up, put it back in, everything started working again. So, but it's that time to test it, make sure it's going to work. Probably won't use it much right now. We close up the house, and you know, it can get down into the mid 40s or so, and we can still stay pretty comfortable in the house without having to worry about cranking it on. So, especially if it's a sunny day. But I also got to make some arrangements for the kitty cats, because they're going to be going out less and less now. So I've got the two down here just have their issues with each other. You know, it's more Buzz wants to play. Marble doesn't understand play with him because he's so big he can get a little rough. And he doesn't have his play buddy this winter, so since Boomer passed away during the summer, it'll be a little odd figuring out winter time, but try to do some rearranging to the cat trees. They get bored with the same thing over and over, you know, same place all the time, so I occasionally have to move stuff around, restack things. Gives them opportunity to say, hey, it's something new. Okay, let's try this. So like they used to use the old cat tree, but after about 4 months or so, they get bored with it. So then I moved it, and eventually I actually had to take it apart and get rid of it because they clawed the bottom up so much. The tubes that hold up the bottom shelves were collapsing on themselves. And so I had to rearrange it and mix it up with the parts that were still good. And then they had fun with it again for another 3 or 4 months. Then I got bored with it. And so I got to keep changing things up every once in a while for them. It's about that time of the year. They've kind of had the same setup for a while now, most of the summer. Other than Marble, I had to... She can find him. Buzz doesn't seem to care, really. He's like, yeah, whatever. Marble, she likes her spots, and she likes in the spots she's not supposed to get into. She loves sleeping on top of my laser machine. I had to block it off. If I put out a camera bag, boy, that's her most favorite thing. She sees a camera bag, she's on it within like a minute or two. Ever take my cameras down to go through them, I gotta make sure I put them up in an area. You know, my cats love those cardboard scratchers with the ends stacked up there. Toss catnip in it. Yeah. Good to see you, John. Yeah, Buzz, he's got the messed up nose. And so, I know that has nothing to do with it, but we've had a few cats before. They don't care for, he doesn't care for catnip. Now, Marble, on the other hand, she goes crazy for the catnip. I had to start putting them in a twisted on container, because if I leave it in the plastic bag and she finds it, you know, the little Ziploc things they come in, she'll just rip it open. I know one time I left it out and come back down. It was a fairly big bag of catnip I'd bought, and boy, it was just everywhere. Everywhere. She rolled in it and then just started going everywhere. Just covered everything in catnip. Buzz, he gets the smell of it, he'll go up and sniff on it, but he's like, eh, whatever. Walks off. But yeah, they claw the crud out of the cat scratchers. I found it actually cheaper, and what I've done for the past couple years now is I end up buying a big giant one. Comes with, you know, all the stacks and layers and shelves and all that, you know, Florida almost ceiling style. And I'll just pull out a base and put one of the tubes on it, and they'll scratch that one up, you know, take a couple months to go through it. I'll just unscrew that one, put on another round part. Heck of a lot cheaper than keep going and buying the single scratching posts, you know, for 20-30 bucks a pop. Buy a whole big thing, and then actually, if I get to it before, if I'm not too busy, I'll either rewrap because it comes with the rope that's on it. Lemon balm and mint is the other two herbs that are the same family as that cats love. Yeah, I think it was mint. I don't know. I bought some other stuff once before too. I know Marble liked it. She pretty much likes anything. She finds stuff out in the yard and just starts rolling around in it. But Buzz, he's always been, nothing seems to phase his smelling issues. I mean, that's why I don't think it's a smelling issue. I mean, it could be, because like I said, he's got a messed up nose. We're unsure, since we kind of took him in, if it was a birth defect or he had a major injury as a kitten. He's kind of basically only has one nostril. Vets have checked him out, and you know, there's tests we could do to see if it was a birth defect or not, but it's like, you know, they say he can breathe enough, so it's all good. But he does snort, and since that side of his face is a little messed up, we call it the snackle tooth. His lips pulled up on one side, and so he's got a tooth that just kind of hangs out there all the time. It's kind of funny when he goes to sleep and sitting a certain way. You see this side of his face that's a little messed up, but oh, I love him. And when we first seen him, he was neighbor's cats, and they eventually tossed him outside for whatever reason, got them a dog, and so he started coming over here. They weren't feeding him, so we started feeding him. So he became our cat, and he's had his problems, but you know, we used to just sit there and talk to him through the fence, pet him all the time, and he loved it. And it was always, you know, the face always was like, what, you know, it's just so weird looking. I got some pictures on my personal page of him. But now I never even really notice it anymore. It's been so long we've had him now. It's like I don't even see the messed up face for the most part. Until like I said, when he's laying down, being silly, flipping over, showing his little snaggle tooth to us. And he's one of the very few cats. We've had cats that were okay with you petting your belly, but he's like a dog. He will just come over to you, or he does this at you, and he'll literally throw his body sideways so he's on his back and pet my belly. He's a belly rubbing cat. Strangest, weirdest thing. I've had other cats, like I said, that like petted, okay with the belly, but he insists on it. It's like neck, head, belly. That's his three favorite parts. And butt. He likes the side of the butt scratched, you know, down the back leg area. Yeah, with winter coming in, they'll spend less time outside now, and he'll get depressed. I'm hoping he used to kind of go upstairs too, but after the last couple, well, this whole year he's gone to the vet probably, I don't know, 6-7 times, and so he thinks upstairs now is vet time, it seems like, and he doesn't really want to go upstairs anymore. But maybe during the winter we can break him back into going up there. But he had to go in because he was starting to have more and more issues, and that's when we found out he was diabetic, and now he gets shots twice a day. He doesn't really care for those at first. Now he's like, okay, I'm dealing with it, but there's the occasional day where he wants to fight with me. Well, not necessarily fight, but it's like, here's your food, let's get your food in you, let's get your shot. And he's like, I know shot's coming, I'm not walking over to you. So I have to go walk over to him, and he's like, yeah, you're just going to chase me, so I'll just sit here, but I wasn't going to come to you. So he's had to keep going in and get a check, blood work and all that several different times. He hates going to the vet. I don't blame him. I hate going to the doctor too, so. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn back on that. All the issues I was having there at the start of the stream, my brain got lost where I was. It's only one, but alright. So let's see here. I think we got one more row after this that's pretty much the same. Then we'll have a little bit of a change up. Won't start using the reds yet. We'll start mixing up the frost and green a bit more, and probably start giving it away more once we start getting into that. About 3 or 4 more rows after that point. Probably by row 10, 12-ish. I think it'll become more noticeable on what it's going to pretty much be. Glad to get back into doing an inlay since it had been a couple months. Even though they're kind of, they take forever to do. In a little bit of a way, they're kind of, repetitive because you're just doing 4 in 1 weave over and over and over and over again. But once it starts taking shape and getting, more bulk to it, and the actual design, this doesn't have a ton of design in it, but I think I've got all these that I've got planned, and I've been actually working on a couple more, getting the pictures ready and everything that I want to do. I'm thinking about making one for the band. I don't know how large yet, but to have the Griffin logo on it. I'd like to do that one. If it all came down to it, if I had to think about it, I've probably got about at least 50 of them I'd like to do. I've saved pictures from over times. It's like, this would be I want to do this eventually in an inlay, and it's a matter of which one do I want to do, how big do I want to do it. But this one, like I said, is going to have 8-ish parts. It'll have 8 larger pieces and some smaller pieces here and there, but just if rings were cheaper, or I could do my own anodizing would be nice. I'd love to, though TRL's quality's gone down, I think, here as of late, I'd still love to be able to just, live in their warehouse. So, I want to do this. I can just go grab what I needed. When it comes to color stuff, I can kind of do that now with stainless and bronze, brass, all that. Even bright aluminum, but when it comes to inlays, I guess you could do an inlay in stainless. I mean, well, I've got it in, the crap wire that you can get, the crap fencing coated stuff. Names dropping out of my brain again. But that's what I've got, that, and I've got some black wire that's some type of steel, but it's all black. And I'm using for a cross on a shirt, but I haven't done anything on that in a while. I kind of wanted to get into it a while back, and so I coiled up everything, and I'm snip cutting those. I've still got a giant box full that I need to cut up, and I've still got a good supply of rings already cut for it. But I just keep putting it off because I got so many other things I want to do. So, about every 4 or 5 months I might give it a 4 or 5 hours of work, but that's about it. Kind of rather spend the time doing this. Heat color it, and I have thought about that. I just need to get out and play with it more and try to get better. I've played around with it already, but getting them consistent is from like a batch to batch kind of thing. Getting them to change the right colors. There is kind of a science to it, I guess. You kind of know that, though. I mean, doing your forging, you got to have your metal right temperature and stuff before you do certain things, and kind of the same applies a bit to heat treating your metal. Yeah, I probably got a little too many out for this, but oh well. It'd be kind of fun to do. I actually played around one time. It was about 3 years ago too. Had a bunch of wood to burn up. Plus, it was about this time of the year where it was getting cooler, so I'd set up the fire pit and just hang around in the fire pit, and I'd just sit there and I'd put rings in for a while I'm just sitting there and pull them out and set them aside. It was so dark I could never see what color they were coming out till the next day. But I just played around with that, and some of them were kind of cool. Some of them didn't come out all that great, but it was just goofing around while I was just sitting around the fire anyway, so really can't do too much mailing in the dark. Though I've often wondered, I'd like to, at one of these chainmail meetups, it'd be fun to get some of these guys out there. And here's a pile of rings, take your pliers, and we're going to blindfold you. What can you build? I don't care if it's something simple. Could you get a closure done easy enough? Just for the fun of it, just to see. I've kind of thought about trying myself. Because I think a lot of us probably could do a little something. It wouldn't be the perfect best things ever, but it'd still be able to tell what it is, I think, for the most part. We've all got that muscle memory anymore that kind of can help. Alright, this row's about wrapped up. What time are we at anyway? I can't go by my recording time right now because it's off since we had that problem at the start of the stream. But hopefully it doesn't happen again. That's what we're hoping for. Let me mark that row down. You are done, Mr. Row. Row 7 is now done. On to row 8. And then row 9 will actually start having a little bit of a change in row 9. Like I said, not drastic change, but there will be change. I'll have to start looking and counting on a few of them. Well, more than likely I'll put in stop rings, or what I call stop rings. Just this is where I need this color going to, and then I'll stop for my change. Go from there. depending on ring size, I can make a number of weaves by feel. But many things I am guessing versus seeing my rings always. Oh yeah. You'd definitely be, that's what would be kind of cool about it, just to see, you know, could you actually do a weave? I mean, if it come to something like this, a simple foreign one, I think most of us could probably feel that out without too much of a problem. Might be a little harder to do a full Persian. I think it could still be done, but I think it'd be fun just to watch people do it, though. I mean, where they couldn't see anything, and you got people cheering them on or laughing, because you kind of have to have everything kind of set up where you can kind of get to it. I mean, right now I could close my eyes, find a ring, and put it through where I need to, because this finger, as long as I found this, I might do this for a bit, trying to find where my piece went. It's always better to see it, but I don't know, I just thought it'd be kind of a fun little game in a way at one of these chainmail meetups, if I ever get to go to one. I was half tempted to before, you know, everything kind of got crazy. It was getting closer to, like, yeah, maybe I'll try to save and get to one of those. And then the COVID hit, so I guess it's going to be a little while before I want to do that. I mean, doing events is one thing, but traveling's a totally other thing too, with everybody's state having so many different regulations. We kind of live on the border here, so it's like going to Kansas, it's different. And then really in the city here, it's different. You know, even from here in Kansas City, when I went to Lee Summit competition out there, they had different rules up there. And that was, you know, only about a 20-minute drive outside Kansas City. That was a little weird, because here I wasn't expecting, you know, most of all the restaurants and stuff are open here. Lee Summit, they still don't have sit-down restaurant eating. So the drive-thrus were insane. And then you wouldn't even have thought there was a problem when we went to Trenton last weekend. It was just like nothing had ever happened there. Now it is a smaller town. Trenton's not all that big, but it was weird. Just every time I would go someplace, you know, to the gas station or something like that, it's like I had my stuff with me that I would possibly need, but there was like no signs, no nothing anywhere. It was like, it's like this place is COVID free for some reason. I still did the best to keep distance and blah 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 blah, but it's kind of nice, you know, in a way. Quick look around, everything still seems to be going good. Don't have any more issues right now. Yeah, I start up the stream, look over there, and seeing that my Facebook page had paused. Video interrupted. May continue. And actually, I guess it did continue, so that was a good thing. I haven't had that happen yet. Every time I went to try to reconnect, I'd end up having to close it down, getting the stream key back open, and all that. And that's the other thing I noticed today, that Facebook finally changed the stream key. Instead of having to open up advanced every time to get your key that was, what do they call it? It's not perpetual, but basically using the same key for your stream every time. You used to have to always hit the advanced button to get it to automatically change over, otherwise your stream wouldn't work. And I noticed today that I didn't have to do that, though I'm getting kind of used to what my stream keys look like. I've had little weirdnesses too with mine. My mom, she stopped by today, and she was telling me, I guess she was trying to comment last night while I was streaming, but nothing was coming through. She goes, it would pop up, I would see it for a few, I see everybody else is typing. Well, last night I don't think I had but a few, but she goes, none of mine were popping up in there. She because when she went to share my page, or share the stream, she said it took forever for it to finally actually show up in her wall. And I was like, unsure. I don't control Facebook. So we'll just take those anytime you get them. Want to give us a like, share, whatever. We're going to try again for Wednesday to do the giveaway this next Wednesday. Hopefully we can get a few more people in. I've been half tempted to just go back to the way I used to do them, where you make a post, but I'm just trying to promote the stream a little more to hopefully get more people into the stream. So, even though it's just silliness and we're just sitting here working on the same thing most time, but you know. Oh, let me grab a drink. Where are we at? About half an hour-ish, a little over-ish. Probably half an hour of streaming, but 36 minutes of full time starting. Well, since 7:30 anyway. And 8:30 for you, John, I guess. So could be 5:30 for others. Kind of wondered if it was too early sometimes. Yeah, I seen Joshua's post from Bracken Mail the other day, and it was like, oh, that is such a bummer, man. What are you doing over there? Knocked something over. I don't know what they knocked over. I don't see anything. Yeah, I don't know if we'll see a whole lot of streaming from Bracken Mail for a little while. I hope everything gets going better for him and he can get back to doing that. I'm just watching some of his stuff. Need to go over there and get some more stuff ordered from him. It's been a little while since I've gotten stuff from him, but before it becomes almost impossible to get some of his stuff. And hopefully that won't take too long so he can keep doing it. I've chatted with him for years and years now. Well, I guess not super long years. I think he was one of the first guys I really started chatting with when I started getting into finally finding that, you know, Facebook had all these groups of chain mailers. Never dawned on me to look there for a while when I started having Facebook years and years ago. I don't know why, but nowadays, anything else I ever think about anymore, I do try to go in and see if there's a group for them, and there normally is. For about anything, I would imagine. Everything I've wanted to look up, there have been groups out there for that particular thing, and I've had some fun sometimes just thinking, is there a group for this? Oh, yeah, there's a group for that. There's a coloring book group, so yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the other weirder ones that I'd come across at times, just when I've been looking. What kind of crazy groups could I find? Sometimes they're only halfway related to what you put in, but I put in crazy group one time actually, and yeah, then you start getting some of those, the crazy Mimi peoples and all that. And I don't necessarily attach to them, but they're out there. Off we go. So yeah, let's get this road done before 8:30 probably. I got 20 minutes till then, so I can imagine this one will get done before that. I think each row's taking me about 25 minutes, I think. It's about 18 to 20-ish when I'm not streaming. If the rings don't give me a problem. Every once in a while you just have that stubborn ring, and I have been getting more into the habit. If I start getting one that's just driving me nuts and I have to try to fix it more than twice, I just pull it out. Put it over the side, it goes into the junk mailbox. which has grown quite a bit this past year, just because of the amount of chainmail I've been doing. But I have to go through it eventually and build something out of the junk mail like I planned on it. I need to pull out the other box too of partially finished projects. There's some that I hadn't touched in 5-6 years that I'd probably figure something out better for them now than at the time. Just, I mean, I've been doing it years and years, but still learning is, I don't think I'll ever stop learning chainmail. I mean, there's always some new little trick you might learn, or this or that, even if you've done it for years. Quick looks around again. Now we've got commercials in my head for some reason. Why? I haven't seen anything with commercial since Sunday. Oh, that's right. The wife was Huluing. So I guess there was commercials on that. That's where I'm probably getting it from. Anymore, really, the only time I see commercials are, if I'm doing any YouTube and changing around, I get a lot of commercials on YouTube sometimes. They become repetitive, though. And then football game on Sunday. It's the only time I really hook up the TV. Otherwise, I don't even have any cords hooked up to it for getting over the air stuff anymore. Just till Sunday, I'll pull out the bunny ears and run it across the room to, tune in whatever station I need to be tuning into that Sunday. Because, Thursday night games are different than Sunday night games, than Monday night games. Well, then Sundays, it depends on who you're playing. But I only really watch the one game anymore, the Chiefs game. I might catch the end of one and beginning of another. And so far this year, actually, though, I haven't. I was going to say, on occasion, certain games I want to watch just because of the two teams playing, but I haven't even done that yet this year. Too much time chainmailing. I mean, we've already had a couple Sunday night games. I'm actually beginning to hate the night games for the Chiefs, because it's like every night game we suck. It's nice to have them. I always wished to have them when we didn't have any, but now it's like, I'd rather play an away game early. Seems like we always have better luck on those. What else we got going on here? Like I said, not a whole lot. Things will change up after next week, though. After this weekend, anyway. Might have a few playoff games of high school football that I might have some band events to kind of get into, but we'll see how that goes. They don't have the best record, I guess, but tentatively, I guess if they win Friday night, they're going to have a playoff game at home the following Friday. I'm going to have to go look. Maybe not. I got the dogs sound a little louder than normal. Thought maybe they had gotten out again. Neighbors' dogs. They get out, they immediately come running over here. Drive me about bonkers. Yeah, we did have the other neighbors on the other side. They moved out. Who had they had several big dogs. But yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago I started noticing. It's like, I'm not seeing their dogs. And then when I drove down that street, because they're kind of on a kind of a corner. We're near the corner, so the back of their house is to the side of our house. So when I drove down the street, I noticed all their stuff was going on off their porch and stuff. So I was like, they must have moved. So I have somebody else moving in there sometime soon. There's always More than likely we'll be a dog family again, though, because fenced-in yards like that, you know, normally the people that rent them out are people that have dogs. I have no problem with dogs, though, don't get me wrong. Other than the barking. Can drive me nuts sometimes. Now on the other side here, they got 3 dogs. And I swear Marble will go out there, and she likes to go. We got a big old driveway that comes down beside the house and a pad out back. Not the greatest of pads, but you can drive down here and do some stuff on it. But she loves to go out there on a sunny day and just roll around out there on this pad. About 8 feet away from the fence line, and she just goes out there, and I swear she does it on purpose, just to antagonize the dogs and make them start barking at her. She'll just be out there rolling around. It's normally when I can tell when the cats are out there, they'll start barking, because she goes around the house to go up front to try to, you know, get somebody's attention. They'll bark at the fence line. You can hear them as they go up the fence line, barking, getting quieter. Or if she's coming home from wherever, you know, they'll get louder as they follow her down the fence line, barking. We got a ton of dogs in this neighborhood. We had them on both sides and back behind us over one, because the one house right behind us, they don't have a fenced-in yard. They're an older couple. They used to have a smaller dog, but I haven't seen that in a couple years, so. And then, like, yeah, on some of the nights where it's nice and quiet outside and I'll be sitting out there if I get a fire going, it's kind of weird to, you can hear all the dogs throughout the whole neighborhood, and they like go in a succession. You'll hear, you know, one dog's area starts barking, and it, you know, then it makes the next closest one to them bark, and you can just kind of hear it move in the background down like a couple streets. And I know there's been times here, because we got dog across from us on the other side of the street, and straight across, then 3 houses in a row all have dogs. There's the second house down over there. They got a nice big front yard that's fenced off, and they got a couple dogs in there, and when they start going nuts because of a delivery man or something, we'll set off the dogs next door to us, which used to set off the dogs on the other side of us. And then across their street over there, there's a couple other houses that got dogs, and you'll hear those starting to bark, and they'll set off a few houses down from them, and that's when you start hearing it slowly fade away. Alright, so next one, okay, so I'll have to do some counting on the next one. Yeah, this is the final row of this set. Do I still? Yeah. Because I guess this piece does have 4 colors in it, but the 4th color, I literally think has. Yeah, it does. 24. 24 rings of the 4th color, and that's it out of the 20,000. I think that's when it'll start kind of showing what it could be. But I have a feeling after about the 3rd, 4th row after that color gets in there. Like I said, it's just a little couple rings here, couple rings there of that color. Well, I guess I can say it's orange. I don't think saying orange is going to give too much away. No, I'm not necessarily trying to keep it a secret. I just kind of want to keep going. And I still need to wash my reds. I've got them put in there. I started running water and getting soap on them. And what was it that happened? I forgot what happened that day. So I just ended up draining them real quick, giving them a quick rinse, and so I never got them fully cleaned. I need to pull them back out and give them a nice good cleaning, because they definitely are a little duller looking because of the oils. My greens were the same way, though. Oh, excuse me. And they almost kind of looked maddish in a way when I first put them out. And I was like, getting worse and worse. What was that? That was weird. Oh, I got a thingy up top. Let me do a quick check, make sure there's nothing I need to reply to in these. No. Just likes on the bracelets, I guess. Not used to having that pop up during a stream too much, other than like if, sometimes John, you've shared, and Sean White from Mailworks, he'll share on occasion, so then I'll have a little notification pop up for those, but most of the time I don't have a whole lot of notifications till either be after my stream or, during the day, but my phone didn't give me a notification though. Normally it beeps at me too. Alright, almost done with the row. And like I said, I'll have to do a little bit of counting. I guess these first couple rows I'm not going to put in stopper rings. But, yeah, because I'll need to get out my other paper and I don't have it super handy with. Or, right now I wasn't thinking about actually needing it, even though I should have known I was going to need it by this time. Flip around the right way. Three more, four more. This song's a little weird. Trying to find a free group of music I can do that's kind of Halloween-y. Couldn't find anything, and only did a quick search earlier today. It's like I should have a little week of that, because I found some Christmas stuff to play during Christmas time. Figure once we get into December, I'll kind of have that as the background music if I can totally figure it out. So far, it's working and decent enough. Oh, come on, rings. Flip over, flip under. Alright, here's the last one of this row. Did we get it done before? Oh yeah. I was wanting it done before 8:30. We definitely got it done before 8:30. And 20 minutes, and it took us 14-ish to get to that point. So, alright, mark off that one. And time to count out. We need 26. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Alrighty, so this is now on to row 9. Out of, what did I say, 200? I think it's 202. So it's still got a little while, but hopefully I'll be getting in, 5-6 rows a day here soon. I can easily do that. I've done it before, so it's just a matter of being able to sit down and get it done. If I don't get another project or an order anyway, which, I'd much rather have the orders, I guess, than being able to work on this, so. And, they extended the band tumblers. They're supposed to be wrapped up by yesterday, but then they asked me if they could extend it out a week and still get them done before Christmas, and I was like, yeah, you could go a little longer if you wanted, because originally we were trying to have them done before Thanksgiving this year. But if you want them done by Christmas, we're good. We can go till, could go till Turkey Day and still get them done by Christmas, but I don't want to wait that long. I want to kind of get them done and out, especially if I get other events lined up. As that kind of helped last year, not having the events gave me more time to work on them. And I guess it will depend on how many tumblers they actually sell this year. Last year we had, like I said, close to 90. So I had a good week of work to do to get those 90 done. Probably could have done them a little quicker, but you know, I'd rather take my time sometimes. I mean, that was with, I think I had 4 screw-ups during the laser etching, which isn't really too, no, I guess it's 5. I had 4 red ones go bad on me and 1 black one go bad on me during an etching. 2 of them were power-related issues, power flickered, and can't really, you know, I'd need a whole house backup to really have a backup system for the laser. And you really can't, once it's going, you really can't stop. I mean, it's all or nothing once you get it going. There are things that you can kind of do, but I was like, I did actually in one cup, it came out okie dokie in a way. If you really looked, you could see where the mess up was, and I was like, well, I know it's there, so I'm not gonna, you know, that one, it went into the junkish pile, I guess, if you want to say. Just the ones I wasn't gonna put out there. And it's about like the 3D printers. They have things that supposedly supposed to recover from power down or something like that, and auto resume. But I've tried to do that, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and every time when it comes to 3D printer too, it's like, you know, it's about worthless. Why even try? Once it wants to try to redo it, you end up with a glob that it finished with. If you clean that up, it helps before you restart. But even on a restart, you know, you prime up everything. When you start a 3D print, and you've got a border and stuff you print on the bed, and basically it gets the nozzle all primed up and everything. And when you go to do an auto resume, you really can't prime it up all that great. So most prints, when I've done that, they end up, that's their fragile point. And most of my prints are, I mean, I'd say half and half of kind of fun little decorative style type stuff, but a lot of them are more functional things, braces and things like that. So they're thick, heavy duty, and I just don't like having a fragile point in it. So if it ever goes out during one of those, it's normally I just call it toast, move on, get it going to another one instead of trying to save it. I'll spend more time trying to save it than just, sometimes more material than just starting over. Because if you early into a print, you try to save it, and then by the time you're done, it looks okay, but it's not really functional anymore. You just wasted all that material above it. Laser, kind of the same. Though, I will say with the laser, if I'm doing some of my acrylics and wood and stuff like that, if I'm cutting out my own pieces of wood, if it happens during one of those, not that big of a thing, because those pieces I'll keep as scrap for testing purposes. Because I always put something in there to test on. When I do tumblers, I've got a couple test tumblers that I masking tape up so that I can make sure everything's going to print within the areas they're supposed to. And once it's all, you know, it gets rid of the coating underneath, so cups look like a crazy mess without the masking tape on it because of everything that I've done on it. But it helps. And then once it's all set up and going good, then I can throw in the regular tumblers and just start kind of mass producing in a way. One more, and then we go on to the orange. A few of them. Like I said, there's 24 throughout the whole piece. A little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom. Where are they at? And I needed 3. So I say very few at a time. Keep them just up out of the way here. I'm going to pull them out when I need them, otherwise I could possibly spill them. Cat could spill them. So, the more I think about it, cats have never spilt any of my rings. It's always been me spilling my own rings. Yeah, well, how many do I need on this next? Yeah, probably. I had my paper out, but yeah, I'm just going to count these out. A little more this time, though. 58. I'll have to count a little longer. I've got a Sharpie highlighter. I didn't realize it till just... I've been using it a lot more, and it's a liquid one, I guess. I didn't know they actually had those. I was moving it and I seen something moving on the inside. I was like, what's going on there? And I was like, oh, that's like a liquid paint almost. I almost hate it. It's almost too much of a highlighter. It goes through paper, soaks through, and it drives me nuts. Oh, which reminds me. I should have done that earlier. Alright, so what are we at 58? So let's count these little buggers out here. 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58. That was only 4 over. That wasn't a bad guess for having that many. Where are we at here? 8:33, so we're an hour and 3 minutes in. I haven't checked over into YouTube and Twitchies in a while. Well, hello over there on Twitch. It looks like I got 2 viewers on Twitch. I don't have anybody commenting, so I can't say hi to a certain person name, but I do thank you for being over there. I don't think I've had anybody on YouTube tonight. Not that I've seen anyway. But I will say, when I get into the inlays, I have a harder time remembering to look over there. And start getting into it and start moving along. Yeah, when I was looking over at Joshua Gilberto's webpage today, it reminded me I'm gonna, I think here in the next couple weeks, I'm gonna order a set of his modified pliers. I've been wanting them for years, and I kept putting them off. And now that I'm been doing more stainless steel stuff, it's like, you need to give me a nicer pair of those. I mean, I've got pliers at work, but I want something a little more stubby in a way than what I currently get. My ones that are just normal lockjaw ones, and they do the job, but I have gotten so used to having pliers that have springs in them, or a few of them I've modified myself and put magnets in them so they repel and kind of pre-open themselves. I've gotten used to pliers now that open themselves. When I have to use the other ones and manually open them, I get a little stupid sometimes going, I'll let go expecting them to open and they don't. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I'll remember for a while, and then all of a sudden I'll put them down, I'll go to the bathroom or get something to eat, and I'll come back to them, and the first couple times I go in, I'm expecting them to pop back open again. It's like, I just got done working with you, and I know you don't pop open. So we're going to try to finish up this before the stream ends tonight. We got 25 minutes. That should be no problem to finish this row up. Once I do, I'll need to get in there and make another post and link over to Mailworks page. Been trying to do that at the end of my stream most days. Other than last night, I didn't get a notification he was streaming. That kind of drove me a little bonkers last night. Didn't realize it was till I think I was about 20-30 minutes late into a stream last night because I didn't get a notification, and I happened to go over there to hit his page just because I was like, oh, I wonder if he posted anything about, you know, not streaming tonight. And went over there, and sure enough, there's a live stream going. I was like, really? Granted, I just kind of opened it up and went back to working on my own thing and didn't really chat much last night in his chat and his, but sometimes I'll just go back and watch some of his older ones, let him play while I'm working on something. I do that with my own streams too, just to, if I want to check a stream or something, see if it did alright. I'll just let it play. Well, actually, I'll open it up, go to the part I'm wanting to check, and then I just let it end up playing, continuing out. Well, I got into whatever else I was doing, now I realize I'm listening to myself. Is that a little narcissistic there? I'm watching myself do stuff. Why? Could be watching other people do stuff. And actually, this will take us most of the way out to the the end of this row. I guess I could have just gone and put in the first parts because there's only, I would have had 13 rings to go from the other end, and the rest of them are all the frost. So I guess I could have done that without having to get out my other paper. If I would have had that out, I would have known. Like I said, I have little notes that I wrote to myself for when I got into this, so that anytime I do an inlay like this, if there's sometimes I'll make some minor changes to it. Just sent a set of pliers to Sean Monday. Oh, the ones you were making for him. I remember seeing that on one of his streams. You were talking about doing that for him. That'll probably just throw him for a loop since he's been using the same pliers forever. Probably take a little while to get used to them too. After you worked with this set of pliers for a while and moving over to another one. Whenever I go use my little Xerons for smaller work, it's like I forget that I'm working with such small stuff again. I'll screw up some rings there for a while because I was working with 16 gauge, now I'm down to 20 gauge, a big difference there. Well, and then just, instead of 1/4 inch, 5/16 or something, you're down into the 1/8 inch, 3/32. Kind of like whenever I get into doing jelly cube. Now, granted, that only goes down to I'm using 18 gauge rings for that, but they're so small and dainty compared to something like this. Yeah, I want to get me a good set, though, of something I can work with some more stainless. If I need to go bigger, though, seems like most of those other pliers that I see, they suggest not going, above 16, even for stainless. And I'm like, well, I'll still use my big ones for bigger stuff. Not some of your, 6 gauge wire, where you have to use a vise. It'd be sweet though to do that. I'd love to be able to get some big rings and use big old vise and get them bent into place. And I don't know. I've seen your bronze. Was it copper? I don't remember what you said the material was in that one big one you had. I was like, that's the kind I'd like to weld up with the same material and grind them down and flatten them out where they just look like, one solid ring. I think that'd be just sweet. I want to get something big like that I can hang off the corner of my event stuff. I'd just like to get a big, giant, hunky piece, 2-3 inches around, I think would just be sweet to, and 3-ish foot, 4 foot long or so, something I can hang in the corner just so people will be like, wow, that's kind of beefy. One day. Oh, I got a thingy here. Oh, there's the pictures of the pliers that you'd sent in. Sweet. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about what I'm kind of like the ones I want to get from Gilberto, I guess. Other than I think he adds the magnets in for the opening purposes. Copper and brass is my giant bar stock rings, yeah. Yeah, I've got a big old vise that I could do things like that with, because it's pretty heavy duty vise, but I don't have it mounted to anything. I use it for light work right now. Because I don't have it mounted, I need to get a big old heavy duty table to mount it to, and I just don't have the room for a big old heavy duty table right now. I'll tell you, one of the hardest things I ever coiled up was freaking, I think it was probably 12, it might have been 10 gauge, but it was music wire, piano wire, and boy, that stuff was, I was actually trying to make up, when I did make up. I had my pedals for my gaming system, for my driving games. One of the tension springs, or a torsion spring, broke in it. And I made one out of steel. I probably needed a hard-tempered steel, and I didn't have any hard-tempered wire, or thick enough anyway. So I ended up buying some music wire, and oh man, that stuff was such a pain in the butt to curl up to make a torsion spring out of. But I eventually got it working, and I ended up getting 3 different sizes, gauge of wire, of the music wire, to make up the same torsion spring, same size and everything, just so I could have it. And I tested each one. I put them in the pedals to see which I liked better. Because I ended up going, I think it was probably, well, if you go in even numbers, 1 gauge higher than what they had made their torsion bar out of. But being music wire too, that stuff was some of the toughest stuff that I've ever, now that wouldn't, I'm sure, compare to your big giant bar stock stuff you've got, but compared to, really the biggest I've coiled myself was 14 gauge. I guess I've done a little 12 gauge, but it was mild, probably half hard, I think, stainless, so it wasn't super hard to do. So when I hit that music wire, that stuff was just like, wow. I was like, well, yeah, I don't think I probably could have closed a 16 gauge. Well, no, I guess that would have been 14 gauge is the smallest one I got of that wire. And using my big old pliers, I could barely get those things bent. Now trying to close up a closure and get them to come together so you get rid of your cut. That I don't know if I could have done that with just the pliers. They were some beefy wire, man. And I'll never buy it again unless I need to make another spring, but I've still got quite a bit of it because you had to buy it in a fairly, I think they were 10-foot rolls. So I've got, and I only used a foot of each one at the most, probably a little less than that. I ended up making a test one out of aluminum, and just so I could know how much I was going to need, because I didn't want to have a lot of waste on it. So I twisted up some of the aluminum, got the basic size I needed, and I knew how long I cut it and how much I had waste off of it. So when I got into the music wire, I only had like 1.5 inches of waste after I was done on them all, so that worked out pretty well. One of the nicer things, I guess, about having some aluminum sitting around. Dog goes to 1mm in the front. Yeah. That's why I do like the parallel pliers I got, but I almost think I'd probably like a pair of modified pliers. I'd almost like to take these Mitronics, and because they're probably 22 gauge gap. I haven't really measured it, but looking at it real quick, and grind some down where I could have pliers specifically for, like, these are my 16 gauge wire pliers, these are my 18 gauge wire pliers, so you just get a better bite on them, because, you know, using these 16 gauge on these, they open up pretty good. Not that I'm tearing up rings, I mean, it is aluminum, but we're at 47. Well, we're getting close. Well, I've only got 3 more of these, and then we go, what's next? Back over to orange. 3 more orange. So we should finish this up. I've been jabbering, looking around more, and taking longer doing this. That's the thing, when I talk, my hands slow down. Don't know why. You wouldn't think that would work, but it happened that way. But for me, it does. But I'm the guy that forgets to eat dinner sometimes, so or forget to eat in general. I did that yesterday again. Hadn't done it in a while. Ate something at like 9 o'clock yesterday morning, and didn't realize it and wasn't thinking about it till it was about 6:45, about 45 minutes before the stream. I was like, oh crap, I forgot to eat again. So I grabbed something to eat. Which is probably a good thing, or I would have probably been losing my mind halfway through the stream yesterday. 3 oranges. Then we'll finish up with frost and green. Don't need to count those, but I am, just so I make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be real quick. Let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8. Hopefully everything comes out where it's supposed to. But since we're getting close here, I do want to kind of start doing my closer thing here before we get done. I want to thank everybody for dropping by and checking us out. Don't forget to go over and give us likes, shares, all that's all good. Thumbs up, blah, blah, blah. You can find us over on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I did start adding a link into my description on on the Facebook description of my stream for my website. I didn't realize it wasn't in there. I happened to look at it. Was it yesterday? I think is when I finally changed that. It's like, my website's not there, so go check that out. I'm going to be hopefully adding more and more stuff. I actually got in 4 more styles of clasps today that I'm going to be adding in. I need to get pictures taken and all that. And then start getting more of my stuff in there. I've got so much stuff missing, like I said, it's crazy. But I do thank everybody that does come in and watches our videos, either live or later on. It's great to have y'all. It's good to have somebody to kind of chat with when I'm doing these. John, I enjoy having time whenever you get a chance to come in. Kindred Spirit here, dinner time, making dinner. I mean a bowl of cereal because I realized I didn't eat it. Yeah. I've had many a cereals as my meal because it's like, I just need something. I need something quick. Don't have time to wait around. You know, wife makes some good food, but it's like, I can't wait 45 minutes to eat. I've got 15 minutes. I need to eat in 7, so I've got 7 more to get ready for whatever else I'm doing, you know. But, hope everybody has a good weekend. I'm gonna hopefully maybe stream Saturday night, like I said, but it actually might be a late night. If I get to do a stream, it probably wouldn't be till 11, 12 my time. So it'll be more of a late night stream. Probably be a goofy stream, because when I start getting late like that, sometimes my craziness will come out. So I do thank everybody for dropping in again. Hope you all having a great weekend, like I said. And if I'm not here Saturday, which more than likely will be, don't know for how long or what time, like I said, we'll be back on Monday night for our regular night stream. So check us out again next week. Mondays, Wednesday, Thursday, all at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And like I said, y'all have a great night, and I will see you guys here in a few days. Y'all take it easy. Peace.